All right, joining me now for more on this, former Acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker. Matt, you just heard Christina's report there, and I want to get your reaction. Are you surprised that we're getting news like this?
Not at all, Griff, and it's good to be with you today. You know, what I'm seeing, obviously, is that we have millions of people that have come into our country, whether, completely illegally or whether they have filed these bogus asylum claims that are not going to be adjudicated for up to a decade. Ultimately, the people that want to do us harm know that we are allowing everybody to enter our country, and that is causing these situations like you saw in Houston. But what's important is that in both these cases that were just referenced, that means that law enforcement is working it. I'm just concerned that they're overwhelmed with the sheer numbers of folks that have illegally entered our country or have filed these bogus asylum claims, and that there's just not enough law enforcement officers, not enough ICE, not enough FBI officers to do their jobs. Griff, you've been down the border many times, so have I. We have to shut this border down until we can get operational control and understand who is coming in our country. And Congress needs to act, should have acted. And, I'm kind of tired of politicians telling us they're doing everything they can when they're doing absolutely nothing.
Well, and you're right. I mean, I did spend the first part of October in Eagle Pass, Texas. And in just the 10 days I was there, Matt, there were some 9 Iranians crossed, 6 Syrians, 3 Lebanese. I mean, they're coming from all over, and they're special interest aliens, so they get a more extensive vetting. But in just the first 2 weeks of October, across the entire southwest border and northwest border, northern border, there were at least 2 individuals that hit this terror screening data set, the terror watch list, if you will. And that's very concerning, particularly in light of the testimony we saw this week from FBI Director Chris Wray. I think we have a little sound about where he looks at the concern, not necessarily just from border crossers, but from anyone in this country to carry out attacks in light of the recent situation in Israel and in Gaza. Listen here.
We assess that the actions of Hamas and its allies will serve as an inspiration, the likes of which we haven't seen since ISIS launched its so-called caliphate several years ago.
So add to that, in my reporting, I can tell you accurately, the first 31 days of October, more than 31,000 known gotaways, meaning they were observed, seen, or detected and not brought into custody, illegal migrants crossing between ports of entry. That's more than 1,000 a day. How likely do you think, and this is a very sobering question, how likely do you think that we have potential people with national security threat, terrorist attack intentions coming in these groups?
But we absolutely do, Griff. And even if it's 1 in 1,000 or even 1 in 10,000, that's many, many folks that are coming here with the intention to do harm to the American people. And remember, law enforcement needs to be diligent, but I think every American citizen at this point in time is going to have to pay extra attention to what's happening in their neighborhoods and in their communities with these folks, because again, so many potential terrorists have come in, both known that are on the watch list and those that we didn't even know were preparing for that. And I think that's what this Houston case really points out, is that we have them amongst us right now. We need to pay attention to what's going on, Griff.
Well,
and
Matt,
this administration's failed us.
You're the former acting attorney general, and so it's your insight is important on this. My last question, I only got like 10 seconds, but do you think that it is really more a matter of when, not if, that this country gets hit somehow?
Yeah, well, remember, law enforcement has to get it right. I would immediately pivot the FBI to address these threats, is what the first thing I would do.
Matt Whitaker, former acting attorney general, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Greg.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.